Tapas are a wide variety of appetizers or snacks in Spanish cuisine. They may be cold, such as mixed olives and cheese, or warm, such as taquitos, which are battered fried baby squid. Now, with the integration of food culture, many ingredients for tapas originated from other countries, such as olives, onions, tomatoes, chili, beans, and potatoes. Thus, tapa dishes were constantly evolving and have become quite popular in Vietnam.
So, hello, Mr. Mike, and it's very nice to have a talk with you today.
Pleasure.
So, first of all, could you please tell us how long you have been living in Vietnam and what brought you to Vietnam initially?
I arrived in June 2008, and I worked 2 years already in Hanoi before I left for a few months and returned back to Phan Thiet, where I worked in a small boutique hotel and joined Sheraton Hanoi last year in November.
So you have been living here for a long time. So how is life in Vietnam now?
I can say Vietnam, especially Hanoi, developed a lot over the last 4.5 years. I can see very good improvements in terms of infrastructure, in terms of hospitality. My preferred area here in Hanoi is the West Lake area, where I see a lot of development in terms of restaurants, new bars coming up. So life gets more and more enjoyable here in Hanoi than it was in 2008.
This time is around the New Year, so I'm curious to know how is the New Year is celebrated in Germany, and is it different than that in Vietnam?
New Year is the day where everybody goes out and have party, a lot of drinks, where people are hanging out with friends, and midnight you will see everybody went out to the streets to celebrate and welcome the New Year with lots of fireworks and even more alcohol. So basically you can see it everywhere in the TV. You have it in New York and London and Berlin. We have a big party on the Brandenburger Tor in my city, where nearly 1 million people are gathering together to celebrate the New Year. Vietnam is totally opposite. It's a very quiet day. My first New Year in 2008 was quite shocking. I expected a lot of party after 10 o'clock, but it was pretty quiet. At this time I used to working at another property, and we finished the buffet by 10 p.m. I went out to celebrate with the locals, but finally I was the only one.
Our program today will be about the tapas, a very popular dish around the world and in Vietnam also. So could you please introduce very briefly to the Vietnamese audience about something that is called very familiar to the Vietnamese audience, that is called the tapas?
The origin is Spain, which goes back to a very long history. Tapas is meaning actually it's a small snack food which you get additional to your drink. If you go in Spain to a bar, order a glass of wine or beer, it can happen in the morning, in the afternoon or evening. You will always receive a small dish additional which you can eat to your drink. What we try to do here is actually to bring the tapas in a new level. We twist it in different flavors. We separate in different cultures like Italian, Japanese, we have Spanish tapas, we have Vietnamese tapas. So we are quite very flexible. So that's why we call it not really a tapas rather than a tapas style.
Tapas is famous, very well known all around the world. So can you tell us how is tapas now diversified all around the world and especially in Vietnam?
So you can find actually tapas in many countries, but under different description. Like in Italy they call it the antipastis, in France they call it hors d'oeuvre. So even here in Asia it becomes more and more popular as people like to sharing with others and they want to try different flavors rather than to have only one dish. So it becomes more and more popular.
The Charm Bar has just been opened here in the Sheraton Hotel. So, and this Charm Bar is focusing providing the tapas to all the people living in Vietnam and especially in Hanoi. So can you tell us what are offered in the Charm Bar in here?
Charm Bar, we believe it's a nice place to gather together with your friends, even for business reason. You can hang up here have a snack. You can have it as a full meal, or just have it before dinner, before you're going home. You can stop by before you go for dinner to have a snack and have a drink. Like especially in France or Spain, people eat very late dinner, and before they need some drinks and have some little food before. And we were thinking a long time about this concept before we decided it is a place where people can meet each other. And we have a big expat community around the West Lake, which we hope to attract, that people really come to this place and have a good time, listen to music, have good drinks. The prices for tapas are also very reasonable, so many people scared to go hotels. They're always expecting high pricing. So we ensure that we go with a very reasonable pricing on the market, and we provide top quality for a very reasonable price. So you can choose between 54 items, which we separate in different kinds of cuisine. We have Spanish tapas, French hors d'oeuvre we call it. We have Italian antipastis, which is Parma ham and cold cuts, bresaola, pancetta. We have a kind of Japanese delights, which we separate in different kinds of sushis, sashimis, tofu, edamame. We have French with foie gras terrine. We have truffle scrambled egg, which you can have accompanied to your drinks. And of course, we have a wide variety of Vietnamese snacks, which called fresh spring roll, smoked spring roll with a twist. We fused the food a little bit. As well, classics like a bola lot, cha tom, I hope I get it right now, and nem.
And what do you think about the difference between the tapas that is originated from Spain and the like in Vietnam?
I believe I tried quite a wide range of spring rolls, fried and fresh. I'm a big fan of them, and you can create new flavors with them, which is fantastic because they're so simple, and you can match with different meats or seafoods or fishes. So to create your own taste, which we did here with smoked salmon, spring roll, with avocado. We tried spring roll with cheese and sun-dried tomato, which is very popular, which I saw the first couple of days, because foreigners like to try different things, and if you have a crispy spring roll with cheese, it gives a totally new experience and a different view of the spring rolls.
Tapas is kind of very normal, like that is for everyone around the world, and now it is introduced in the very luxurious tram bar here in Sheraton Hotel. And Vietnam also has some kind of the same way that Vietnamese people drink and eat. So have you ever thought about the combination of the Vietnamese bean or spring rolls in introducing in here in this tram bar?
Yes, we have, and we try it quite often when we have some winemaker dinner. And I believe that fresh spring rolls is a nice fit with a glass of wine or even with a beer. I mean, it just depends what you roll in the spring rolls. This gives the unique flavors.
And around this time, the New Year has come. So do you have any messages you'd like to tell to the Vietnamese audience and the people around the world?
Of course, I wish everybody a Happy New Year and a successful and healthy 2013. And I hope to see as much guests as possible in the new chime bar here at the Sheraton Hanoi Hotel to try our food and to experience the new concept.
And once again, thank you very much, Mr. Mike, for joining our program today and share with us many interesting stories about the tapas. And we hope that in the future, more guests will enjoy the time in Cham Bar in Sheraton Hotel. And once again, thank you very much for joining us today.